Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? Are you over being so fatigued that you don't have energy for your kids, for your partner, for yourself, for your friends? Are you overwhelmed with everyday life and not sure why? Do you feel like that everybody else seems to be able to cope and handle, but for some reason you can't? Well, to cover these mystery complex cases, I've brought together some of the most brilliant minds in the alternative health space. We'll be talking everything from psychedelics to mental health, mindfulness, spiritual health, physical health. If it has to do with living your best life, I'm going to have a guest on covering that topic. Hey there, I'm Heather Gray, a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner, and I am the Renegade Health Boss. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you will enjoy this show. Yay! Welcome, Helen, to the show. Well,
Hi, Heather. How are you? I'm so happy to be here with you today.
me as well. It looks like a beautiful day where you at. Where are you?
I'm in Southern California and it's really, really hot outside today.
It's pretty hot here in Colorado too. We're getting into the triple digits this weekend, which this area of Colorado is not really used to.
Oh, wow. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it might be really scary because of fires. That's hot.
We don't say the F word. Don't say the F
I
word,
know. I
Colorado.
mean, we have a lot burning in
Yeah.
California right now. I think we have 24 fires burning in
Oh
California,
God.
which is crazy.
It is crazy. But anywho, I regress. We're going to be talking about water. We're going to be talking about biohacking. We're going to be talking about air. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get into this line of work, and why do you care about it?
Yeah, well, actually, it's like a pretty interesting story. So first of all, like I'm health obsessed. I'm an ultra marathoner. I love to work out. I've always thought that I was very, very in tune with my body. And I was in the beauty business for several years. And so I got to a point in the beauty business where I had a non-compete. And so I came to the owner of Ideal Living, who's the owner of Air Doctor and AquaTrue. And I was like, hey, do you need some consulting? And so I started working on some stuff for him, and two of his products were this air purifier and this water purifier. And when I started learning about them, and the science behind them, I was like, whoa, what are you even saying to me about this air situation and this water situation? Like people need to know. And so I got really passionate about just educating real people about real solutions for clean air and pure water because it's so misunderstood. And so and then I just made friends with a lot of people. And through things like social media and podcasts and webinars, we've been really able to just educate a lot of people on what's really going on in our air and in our water at home so people can really protect the health of themselves and their families.
Absolutely. So I'm an ex-hairstylist. What part of the beauty industry were you in?
Oh, so I did a lot of hair
Okay.
and I've done a lot of color cosmetics. So I work with some big brands like Schwarzkopf and Stila Cosmetics. And so I did a
No
lot
wonder
of
we clicked so well when we first met. We're like, the inner hairdresser in
hi
me.
girl.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Talk
we
about
did. And so
toxins.
I mean, honestly, really, like, I mean, hair salons are a breeding ground for toxins, and we all know that. And a lot of the stuff that we use in our bodies are too. And so it's so important now that really people like clue into what's going on with their health and take their health into their own hands. Really, really important that people understand what's in our environment so they can make, easy changes to make themselves healthier and their environment a little bit better to live in.
Well, that's one of the biggest problems is ignorance, right? We don't know what we don't know. And when we've been brought up by, the TV telling us this is a part of a balanced breakfast. Bullshit.
Yeah,
That's diabetes in the making is what that is, right?
a
That,
hundred percent.
all the toxins that are allowed, for the longest time, I assumed that our government had our best interest in heart and they wouldn't allow certain chemicals to be harmful, and it was such a rude awakening when I was like, wait, what?
Exactly. I mean, this is exactly why I'm so passionate about educating about this. I mean, like I was an educator in the beauty business, and that's what I kind of did about beauty. But like when I really started learning about water and air and just kind of like personalizing it, like my family, what I've done in my life as a mom, as a wife, as a homemaker, and just the misconception I had about like what was going on in my own home and for the health of my own family, it was really an aha moment. And and also really having this conversation in simple terms that people really understand, because sometimes things are so complicated, it goes right over people's head. So really breaking it down into English and explaining just in a normal layman's terms, I think is really, really important.
Man, I think that's why you and we do so well in this industry because, we're around the doctors that speak and the scientists, all the wah, 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 it's over people's
Yeah.
heads, right? But we're so used to breaking things down in a palatable way, for our clients as a hairstylist. And so we're like that great little bridge in between, I speak doctor, but I also speak, regular person.
100%. And I speak like marketing and really kind of translating it into speak that everybody understands, because I think health is for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're like the super biohacker or if you're a mom or if you're a kid in college, like health applies to all. And so I think like at my role here at Ideal Living, it's just been it's really, I'm so proud of my career that I've been able to just share a lot of knowledge about health and wellness and easy changes that people can make in their everyday life to impact their home and their health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are some of the so it was the working out and the stuff, but did you have any kind of health things or was it more of a preventative is what got you into biohacking?
No, it was more like, let's tell people about this, like I'm a marketer in my DNA and I thought I was really healthy. And so here I am, like I'm filling up I'm going to run 100 miles in the mountains and I'm filling up my water, like my water jugs or my camelbacks, my Solomons, all the things to go do this crazy running with tap water. Like if I don't, or bottled water. And if it's bottled water, you've got microplastics. If it's tap water, you have all kinds of horrible things in addition to that. And I'm thinking that I'm fit. I can run 100 miles in the mountains. And I didn't even realize the poisons that were going into my body. And so, first, people think that they're really on top of their health. They're taking their supplements, they're exercising, they're eating organic, they're doing all the stuff, farm to table, you name it. But if you don't have your foundation secure, you can do all the stuff in the world and still be toxic. And so people are like, why are my toxicity levels so high, or my thyroid's not functioning, or all this stuff? It's like, hello, you're breathing it in and you're drinking, it's in the water.
Right.
So I think these simple I just was so struck by this, personally and later in life. I mean, I was in my like late 40s when I had my aha moment and I ran my own water report. So I really felt compelled to use the platforms available to us to really just communicate to people and educate them about simple ways to change their health.
Amen, sister. Yay.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you keep using the words foundations. That's why my course is called The Foundations of Health, because
I love it.
certain things that you just, you don't pass go, do not collect $200. And I think that's the funny little issue that some biohackers get into is they'll like get into these expensive, awesome, crazy gadgets, but they're building that on a foundation that's still kind of flimsy, right? So really dialing in
Exactly.
those foundations, and air and water, man, you don't get more foundational than that. So this is a great spot. We're going to pause for just a quick second. When we come back, we're going to dive deeper into biohacking your way to optimal health, and doing that with air and water and why we should care, and talk about some of those studies and the science behind it that she brought up earlier. So I'm super excited to get into this a little deeper. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When you're facing painful symptoms, a diagnosis of chronic Lyme, or an autoimmune disease, it can be overwhelming to navigate. You already know mainstream medicine doesn't have the tools to support you, and often even alternative medicine can become a maze of options without sustained results. Modern living puts significant stress on our systems. To counter this, we need a holistic approach, utilizing the latest technology and guided by physicians with decades of clinical experience. This is biological medicine. The Biomed Center in Scottsdale, Arizona is one of the most comprehensive clinics in the world, incorporating the latest diagnostics available, such as full-body MRIs, computer regulation thermography, heart rate variability, toxin screenings, and along with hormone and gut testing, they achieve the broadest look at all systems of the body. Customized protocols are developed by physicians who have treated thousands of patients in chronic disease by optimizing their biological performance. Save yourself years of suffering and searching with a visit to the Biomed Center, Scottsdale. The future of medicine is here.
Imagine having an extra hour in your day. With Carol Bike, it's possible in just 5 minutes. You experience what hours of traditional cardio can't match, thanks to scientifically engineered, AI personalized workouts. It's not about working out longer, it's about working out smarter. Every session is tailored to your fitness level, making it perfect for anyone, regardless of age or ability. Say goodbye to guesswork and hello to precision with workouts that are scientifically proven to boost your health and fitness in 90% less time than regular cardio. Who doesn't want that? Less time working out and still get the amazing benefits? Yes, please. Scientifically proven to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes by 62%, lower blood pressure by 5% with just 3 short workouts a week. Feel the benefits of Carol Bike for yourself, risk-free for 100 days. And if it's not for you, return it and get a full refund. Carol Bike is more than a time saver, it's a life enhancer. Make sure to go to carolbike.com, that's CAROL bike.com, and use coupon code RHB to receive $100 off. Make sure to take the next step in your healing journey with your Carol Bike. Yay, welcome back. Let's dive deeper, shall we? So let's talk about, some of the stuff that you said that, people need to hear this. What are some of the things that people need to hear?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, like people spend so much money on their health, and biohacking can be anything from intermittent fasting to, tracking your steps, your HRV, wearing garments, wearing Fitbits, or rings, all the things that people do to track and optimize their health. And, health and wellness is one of the number one highly spent categories in the world. And so people are spending all this money to hack their way to health. But if you are eating organic, tracking your heart rate values, your sleep, doing all these things to really optimize your health, but you don't have your foundational things like air and water in place, you can do all the great stuff in the world, but it's just you're still going to be living in a toxic environment. And so what a lot of people don't realize is that number one, our water. All the waterways here, with the exception of wells here in the United States of America, are lead waterways. And so all the water traveling from wherever the water treatment facility is to our homes is going through a lead waterway. And then it's going through all kinds of broken pipes.
I thought we did away with that type of stuff because wasn't that part of the fall of Rome? Isn't that they found out it was lead poison?
No. I mean, we have like and of course it's treated and there's chlorine in it and this and that.
Yeah,
so it's like getting to, they're putting all these chemicals in. But if I always say, like, whoever's listening to this, if you're not driving, you go to ewg.org, run your zip code and see what's in your water. It will blow your mind. I have 16 contaminants in my water supply in a little mountain town here in Los Angeles, in the foothills of Los Angeles. I have 16 contaminants in my water that cause cancer, that are way above the health guidelines.
Whoa.
And now, I mean, yeah. And so, and this happens to everybody. Like, you run your zip code, you're going to have things that cause cancer in your water. And the other misconception is that you fill up a pot, you put it on the stove, you boil it, and people think that their water is not contaminated if you boil it. So
all they're doing is making it more concentrated.
Exactly. Thank you. Contaminants do not boil out, and especially these inorganic contaminants like rocket fuel, prescription drug residue. Like, there's all kinds of things in the water. Like, birth control is a really big problem now that's in the water. And so there's all these things that don't boil out. Birth control.
Oh, birth control. Gotcha.
Yeah, like birth control,
hormones,
drug residue, all this stuff is in our water supply. And when you cook or boil the water, you're actually concentrating it. And so you're making toxic soup. And so when we're like, boiling water for mashed potatoes or making some mac and cheese or having a pot of tea, like whatever it is that we're doing, we think we're programmed to think that we're purifying the water because we're boiling it, but it's actually concentrated. So nobody should cook with water out of their tap. And, you know, and nobody should think that what's coming through your tap is safe, because it's really filled with, like in my own area, the one thing that really kind of stood out to me when I ran my own water report was chromium-6. I mean, chromium-6, they made the Aaron Brockovich movie 30 years ago. 30 years ago, that was about chromium-6. 30 years later, chromium-6 is in the water here in Los Angeles at my home. And it's like, come on, people, we all know about this. And they just recognize forever chemicals as something that that is a really, really important thing that we need to get rid of in our water. And it's going to take, they have like a huge bill. Within my lifetime, the problem won't be fixed. It's like something we really need to take care of our own health, our own water, and take the situation into our own hands.
You know, and you said something about wells, and I don't know if the wells are different in California than Colorado, but a lot of Colorado wells, Wyoming wells are contaminated because the groundwater is contaminated with glyphosate, with, you know, all the other crap, especially in these agricultural areas that I live around. The groundwater is very contaminated. So don't think if that you're on a well that it's actually any better, because research is showing it's really not.
No, you have to treat your water, and then you need to purify your water, and you need to make sure you're really purifying your water. So it's really important for everybody that they're really thinking seriously about that. The water is key to health. You know, like you can't live without water. And so it's like a number one foundational health issue that we need to treat, because you could be eating all the organic food in the world, but if you're not dealing with your contaminated water, it's like you're just flushing toxins through your system.
Oh, it's crazy. And I have been researching water for years and years. I started off with a Berkey. My husband got me a Berkey for Valentine's Day one year. It was like the best Valentine's Day present. I was so geeked out by it, you know, and then I upgraded from that to something else, and upgraded to that to something else. And, you know, I've done hydrogen water, I've done distilled, I've done it all. I absolutely love the ease and the amazing AquaPure on my countertop. Like I just love it so much.
Yeah, AquaChew is really great. You know, the thing that's really awesome about AquaChew is it has 4 steps of filtration. And look, like water filtration is really complex, and it's not created equal. So there's different ways to filter your water. The first, like most basic one, is a carbon filter, like a Berkey or a pitcher filter. And basically you're doing one stage of filtration, and it's better than nothing, right? But it takes pressure to purify water. And so, one thing that people also don't realize is if that carbon block of a carbon block filter gets filled, right? If it's at capacity and you don't change it in time, you're super dosing your water with contaminants. And so now you're like super dosing your water with the contaminants if you're not like right on that filter change. And then also then you have like fridge filters. Fridge filters are like marginally better than pitcher filters or a carbon filter because it uses pressure, and you need pressure to purify, right? So they're marginally better, but the same thing. It's a carbon filter. And if you don't change it, like, you know, when you have your fridge filter and you taste your ice and it tastes funny, it's because it's super dosing you now. Like you've gone past the filter life and you're super dosing your ice. And so when you taste that really nasty ice taste, like, you know what I'm talking about. You're super dosing yourself. You're super dosing your ice. Stop, throw it away. No ice.
Most of my clients have got massive mold issues. And one of the biggest places of mold are where the water from the refrigerator goes into the house. So I usually tell my clients not to use their refrigerator filter anyway, because it's no bueno.
They really shouldn't. They should be using nice little ice trays, and they should be filling it up with AquaTrue, and they'll be good to go. So, so with AquaTrue, we have, what's great is we have a 4-step reverse osmosis. It's the gold standard for water purification. And our first filter removes things like rust, sediment, the big stuff. And then we have our second filter, which is our carbon filter, which removes things like chlorine, chloramines, lead. And then you have the reverse osmosis filter. And reverse osmosis means that pure water goes to one side and contaminated water stays on the other. And then we have a last 4th stage of filtration, which removes really microscopic things like drug residue, forever chemicals, things like that. So really, we have 4 really great stages of filtration. The water is
Microplastics?
microplastics, yes. Nanoplastics, there's not a testing methodology yet for nanoplastics. So this is something that everyone's working really diligently to figure out. They need to get testing in place. So absolutely microplastics, nanoplastics, we just don't have testing in place yet. And this is interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, because there's something called NSF. So water filters should be tested to NSF standards, right? And so what that means is when you're tested to NSF standards, is that your filters are approved for the filter life. A lot of companies are out there selling water purifiers. They haven't spent the money to get their filters validated. And so it's all kind of BS, you know, and the water industry, like a lot of these big bottle filling stations that you see out there, they haven't really done the testing to be validated to NSF standards. And so people are taking their water and they think they're doing the right thing, and they're filling it up at a bottle filling station that hasn't even really undergone really heavy testing to NSF standards. So it's really a very complex, water is complex.
Yep.
And people really need to take their water into their own hands. And that's why I love our unit. It goes on your counter. You pour tap water in the back. It goes through a 4-stage filtration process, and you have pure, healthy water. It's great.
It is great. And it, you know, and it doesn't take long to do it either. I'm actually quite amazed at how fast it is. I love the pour. It's not like a trickle, like you press a button and things fill up fast. It's great. I used to have a hydrogen water, and I would put my water bottle underneath it, and then maybe an hour later it would be full. You know, that's not the case. Like with this, I have water.
Oh no, it's like making a pot of coffee, right? Yeah. So like rather than making your pot of coffee, you're making your pot of water. And we also have an undersink, which is really great. I have that in my house. And so it comes just right through the undersink. But the carafe is really, it has a glass pitcher. It's so elegant. It's very affordable. And it's great for people that just want to make sure the water they drink and the water they cook with is purified.
Absolutely. And that's another thing I love about your guys' products. One is that they work, and 2, they're so affordable, because I have done my research years and years, and I know it's out there. And for what you guys are charging for what you're getting, it's absolutely amazing. And so when we talk about a little bit about the Air Doctor too, because, you know, we were talking about the fires in the beginning, you know, again, that was another thing I've done a lot of research on. And, you know, there's a lot of really, really expensive ones out there, and there's a lot of ones making big hype, but there's something about too I love the Air Doctor. It's color coded, you know, light. It's just such a peace of mind to look and go, oh, okay, it's green, you know, or what is regular? It's green, right?
Blue. It's blue. Blue, orange, and red.
I know the orange and red. I don't like to see the orange and red. And it was funny. So I have it in my bedroom because that's where I'm most worried about what, you know, I sleep and I have issues with sleep and mold. And my husband was cooking last night and he was burning something in the kitchen. And I walked all the way back to my bedroom and the light was orange. And I was like, oh, why is it orange? And I was like, oh my God, it's from him cooking in the kitchen down the hall. Like, that's incredible.
Let's not even talk about blow drying your hair, right? Because that's something that really sets it off too. I mean, like, yeah, you're like, wow, what volatile organic compounds are coming off my hair dryer right now when I'm blow drying my hair. So it's really like, I think what I love about Air Doctor is it lets you know, because of its indicator light and how it ramps on, the behavior in your household that affects your air quality. And the indicator light is really, it becomes a part of the family. And so many air purifiers sit in the corner. You're like, hello,
is it doing its job? I'm
is
not
it
quite
doing
sure.
anything? You know, and so I think, you know, it's exactly right. Like the Air Doctor really kicks in. And it's really funny. We have one, we have a room in my house where we have a treadmill. And so my husband, like there's an ongoing joke in my house, like when he gets on the treadmill, like the day after, maybe he goes out and he has a glass of wine or something, how it'll like kick on when he's running on the treadmill because he's like off gassing, right? Yeah, the toxins. And so, and yeah, same thing in my house. Like the dog can walk by the air ductor will go on. I'm cooking downstairs, the air ductor will go on. Heaven forbid I light some incense or I sage. I mean, it's going bananas,
I have learned that one the hard way on a podcast. I had some candles on my desk. I blew them out. The air doctor was in my room. And then all of a sudden I'm on a podcast and it's all loud. I was like, oh, crap. You know, so I had to move it out of the room because it just was very unhappy. But it's a weird peace of mind being able to look over there and go, okay, it's doing its job. And I feel comfortable about the air that I'm breathing. And because the people that I work with have been so sick. There's usually so many chronic different things going on.
Yeah.
Any amount of burden that we could release from the body. And these are the low hanging fruit, right? These are the foundations. And you're talking about fires, you know, you live in an area, I live in an area that's very prone to wildfires, and the air quality here a couple of years ago was atrocious. And I suffered greatly from it. And that's when I really started researching purifiers after that, is because I didn't ever want to go through another summer, you know, not being able to breathe.
Well, you know, and it's the story of Air Doctor is really interesting. So the founder and CEO of Ita Living and Air Doctor, his name is Peter Spiegel, and he has been in the air purification business for a really long time, and he suffers from every allergy. And he has a house in Texas. They have cedar fever. He's gone to all the allergists. I mean, he really made this unit for himself. And so, and he modeled it after really high powered units that they have in hospitals. And it was really important for him that it had a couple things. So number one, that it has an ultra HEPA filter. There are a lot of HEPA filters out there, but they fail the HEPA standard. And so when they're tested, and so our ultra HEPA filter has been tested to remove particles down to 0.003 microns. And so that gets down to a virus-sized micron, very, very small. And it also removes all kinds of things like pet dander, mold spores, all the things that, you know, most people are concerned about. But we really get down to a very, very tiny size. And 0.003 is really what you want out of a HEPA filter. What you're seeing for $99 on Amazon is not going to remove down to that particle size. And then in addition to that, you need to have a very dense carbon block filter that is dense, thick carbon. This is to address volatile organic compounds in the air. And when we have these fires, that is one of the things we really need to worry about, is the gases coming off all the things that are burning in these fires, including it's called PMS 2.5, like particulate matter 2.5 size. That's really, really bad for people that have any sort of like conditions like asthma, respiratory issues, if they're immune suppressed, all these things. Like, people should not be breathing that stuff in. And then lastly, we also have a completely sealed system. And for people that are suffering with mold, this is very, very important. What goes into your air purifier should not come out. And it's really important that systems are sealed. So when it captures all these things, that it's not leaking out into the immediate environment. So we have an ultra HEPA filter, we have a carbon filter, we have the sealed system, we have a very powerful fan that moves the air, circulates it in the room. So we've got a really high KDAR rating. And so it's a really, really great machine at a very affordable price.
No, absolutely. Hands down. Like I said, I've had several water machines and I've had several air filters until I found these guys, and I am just absolutely in love. So I was so excited to have you on today, because I was just like, I'm so excited.
It's interesting because we met at the Biohacking conference, right? And you really understand how powerful your air ductor is when you travel. Because at that hotel, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to take one of my air doctors up to my room and sleep with it in my room, because like the air quality in the hotel was so bad. So if you have an air doctor in your bedroom when you sleep, I mean, it's a game changer.
Yeah. So are you guys going to make anything a little bit smaller that you can take with you to, like, when you travel? Because that's the one thing I'm running into, is I am the canary in the coal mine, and I have such issues with mold. And the majority, especially a lot of these health conferences I go to in Arizona, I would think a desert, no, but they're running their AC 24/7. So the mold in the hotel rooms in Arizona are horrible. and I haven't quite figured out a way to protect myself from that yet. So, I mean, are you guys coming out with
So
anything
we do
smaller?
have a smaller unit. It's
Do.
called the Air Doctor 2000, and some people actually travel with it and their carry-on. Actually, that conference we were at, the person running that conference, whose conference was, actually travels with an Air Doctor 2000 in his
Oh,
suitcase, and also loves the
you
AquaTrue
mean, are you
carafe.
talking about Dave?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
talking about Dave.
that's like,
Dave travels with a 2000. And
oh,
so
that's awesome.
yeah. And so and I was like, oh, we need to do what Dave does, and like bring it up to the room. So we have a lot of people. We also have a lot of, friends of the company that love to go to Airbnbs, and they're constantly taking their kit. So they travel with their little 2000, they travel with their AquaTrue carafe. We're almost about to make like a carrying case for our AquaTrue carafe so people can travel with it, because water is just such a huge problem. And so yeah, the 2000 is perfect to take on trips with you if you're traveling. And really great units. Always, like when you have an air purifier, the most important place to have it in your home is where you sleep,
Okay.
and then where people gather. So those are the two places, because we spend most of our time sleeping in our homes, and it's the most important place to have an air purifier.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you're talking to travel with water, you're talking with the glass craft?
Yeah, we're thinking about making a carrying case for it, so people can
Awesome.
just take it, like kind of like, like a thaw or something, like having a hardback case. But so many people want to travel with our solution. That's
Yeah.
something that we're working on as a company. So
That's good to know. Right now, I'm just traveling with a regular, pitcher with the carbon filter. It's not the best, but it's better than nothing. It makes me feel a little
100%.
better. And I'm not drinking out of a bunch of freaking plastic water bottles. That still drives me bonkers. A lot of these health conferences that, the speakers, you see them up there with the plastic water bottles, and it's like, no,
No.
no.
Yeah. We have a thing here in the offices here that, like, there's no plastic bottles allowed, pretty much. Like, it's all stainless. And we have AquaTrues. Actually, we have a business sector of AquaTrue now too, where we're making freestanding units. We're putting them into schools. And so we have those systems here in the office, and we really we have AquaTrue flowing all day here.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Do you guys have any full house units? Are you guys going to come up with anything like that?
So we're thinking about it. Full house units are really expensive, and they're very cost prohibitive. And so we always want to make sure that what we're putting out for AquaTrue is really easy for the customer to use. And so right now, the easiest way to kind of touch many people is with our countertop, our patented countertop machines, because it really makes it very accessible. We are thinking about how we can improve on whole house systems that are out there, and it's something that we're talking about looking into the future. For right
Or even
now,
like shower head filters, something, because that's a lot of things that people don't realize. So they're like, they drink all this clean, healthy water, and then they get in a shower, right? And your skin is your largest organ. And it's like, no, we gotta take care of that too.
So we might have a surprise coming out in a few months. But everything needs to be validated by science in our company. And so we want to make sure that what we launch is really backed in science. And so we take our testing very seriously. We take our data sheets very seriously. And if it's not science backed, we're not going to do it. So, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there in the industry, as you know. And so we are not that company. Everything is science backed. And so until we can really validate things and substantiate them, we don't release.
That's incredible. That makes my heart so happy. So, because you really have to, unless you become a super science researcher, right? You have to really trust that these companies, when you plug this in, that it's really doing what they say they're going to do. And it sucks that it's on the consumer to do their homework, but you have to do your homework. And so that's why I love Dave's show, is because I can pretty much guarantee that anything that's going to be in that building, anything that he's using, he's done his homework. And so I kind of, it makes me
100%.
a little easier, right? I'm like, oh,
And
Dave uses this. All right.
And he really asked the questions, and so he's really him and his whole team. I have to say, I can't speak highly enough of them. They're really great partners of Ideal Living, AquaTrue, and Air Doctor. And we've had in-depth conversations about our science, our data. They've asked the questions, and we're very, very happy that they continue to invite us back to be their air and water partner. It's really great.
That is really great. I'm so happy for you. That's exciting. And I'm so blessed to have met you. And you're just an amazing person with an incredible heart. And we clicked right away. And I just can't say thank you enough. So we will have the show notes in the links in the show notes, and then $100. People get $100 off the AquaTrue from watching this podcast. So that's a killer deal.
Yeah, and even more, and some of the Air Doctors too. The Air Doctor 3500, I think, is several $100s off for your followers. So that's a really, really great value too. So if you want to get into clean air and clean water, please check out the links because they're really, really great values.
Absolutely. So do you have anything else you'd like to leave us with?
I just want to say thank you. I just thank you for having this platform, for being so passionate about bringing people like me on to just talk about things like air and water. It's so foundational. And these are really simple things that people can do every single day to make their home and their family a little bit healthier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much again. And make sure to have a healthy day. Stay tuned. And as always, if you were inspired by anything that you heard on today's show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. That's the only way that we help change people's lives and get this information out into the world so that change can begin one person at a time, the way that it did with me and changed my life so many years ago. Make sure too, right, if you really want to start changing your life, it starts with your diet. It starts with what's on the end of your fork. And if you want to start making changes, go to my website, www.renegadehealthboss, RENEGADE, health, HEALTHBOSS.com, and download your free ebook, your free cooking guide, Real Cooking to Real Life. And in there, you'll also find links to the videos. Don't just learn what to eat, but why, right? Don't just learn how to cook, but the reasonings behind why I use some of the tools that I do, the toxins. You've got to lower your toxic burden, and we can do that in the kitchen and with what you eat. So make sure that you pick up that free resource. It's amazing. And while we're at it, we got to do a little disclaimer. Anything that you hear on this show is for entertainment value only. You cannot hold Heather Gray, the Lyme Boss, Discovering Health LLC, or Renegade Health Boss liable for any damages that may have occurred while you have tried something that you've heard on the show. This show also contains affiliate sponsorship and paid advertising, just a heads up. But to also know that no advertising gets on here without my approval first. It's usually products that I have tried and have my stamp of approval on it, so never fear when it comes to that. But yes, cannot hold me liable. Do not... this is for educational purposes only. Please make sure that you talk to your doctor before making any medical changes. And God bless. Stay tuned.